Hey friends, I am here today with Parker Dane.
Hey, everybody.
Excited to hang out with him. And we're doing this interview so you can just get to know him a little more. You saw him preach this last Sunday. Parker, you did an excellent
Hey,
job
thanks, man.
on Sunday.
Thank you. I was happy to be here.
Yeah, man. I love that you came and
Yeah.
led us in the word. This is a chance to slow down and just get to know some more personal parts of who Parker Dane is. And here's what's fun about this interview. Parker has not seen any of the 5 questions I'm getting ready to ask him before. So this is raw
Yep.
and real and unplugged.
Let's go.
What are you
I'm ready.
are you worried?
No,
You're
well,
not?
maybe a little.
Maybe a little.
If Mark wrote the questions, I wouldn't be worried, but with you writing them, I'm a little worried.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Question 1. Parker,
Yes.
a major part of your pastoral role would include caring for servants and leaders in the gospel community ministry,
Mhm.
seedlings ministry, and seed youth ministry.
Mhm.
Can you tell me a story from your past experience or a lesson you have learned on the importance of caring for people who faithfully serve the church?
Yeah. So I think with the role that I was in Topeka on staff at Western Hills Church, I had the opportunity to serve both those who were on staff, but also those who were volunteers in these particular ministries. And so when it came to serving someone on staff, I think of a woman named Susan, who was in charge of our children's ministry. And her and I became really close over the years as I just tried to be a sounding board for her, tried to be a place where she could bounce ideas off of, but also just in the moments where she was so often pouring out into other people, we would meet weekly, just so maybe we had some time to get poured back in through the word and through
Mm.
prayer and be able to just know that we had something in our tank to give from. And so that was really cool, really special. But then even with the teams that we had, I was discipleship pastor there as well after being the youth pastor and had these monthly opportunities. We called them lead night, where all of our leaders would come in. And it was kind of a similar thing to what I would do personally with Susan, but we would just spend time walking through particular training on their ministry, what it was like to be a volunteer, why the word calls us to serve the church, things like that. And so it was very valuable, not only for us as leaders to get face time with those volunteers, but I think for them to have face time with us as a staff, to know that they were cared for and loved on, and had all the resources and tools that they needed to do what God had called them to do. So we really enjoyed doing that. And, same played out with me as a youth pastor before that, just trying to spend that intentional time with the people that I was asking to do some heavy things. And so the fact that we did them together and we did them for the glory of God made it a lot easier for us to walk together the longer we did it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Question 2, you ready?
All right, let's go.
More personal. What do you love most about being a dad?
Oh, I love hearing the laughter from my little girls. I love being able to tickle them, run around the house with them, goof off with them. I don't know. It's hard to just say what I love most. But I think being able to see even them play together and see now as Stella, who's 1, Charlie 3, seeing Stella become older and then being able to play together and Stella not just being, a blob on the floor anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, she's
yeah.
able to interact and have fun and things like this. That is a true joy for Candace and I both to see them have a blast together and do all the princess things and
Yeah.
love on them in that way. And one more thing, I think when I come home for the day and my wife maybe has the door open, but the clear storm door is still closed. When I come home and I see my girl standing there at the door waiting and waving, that's one of the coolest things that I get to see.
Yeah. Excellent. Question 3, my friend. Can you talk to me about a challenging trial or hardship you and Candace have faced in your life and how the Lord met you in it?
Yeah. My mind immediately goes to the hardest, and that was a couple of years ago, we lost Candace's mom. It was a tragic accident. She was otherwise a healthy woman and had an accident, and we lost her. And it was the most challenging thing that either one of us had gone through as individuals, but then also as a couple.
Mm.
Um, One day everything's normal and great in your family, and then the next day everything changes. And I remember back to that time, and all the support that we had, even though we'd only been in Wichita, I think for a couple of years at that point, through the relationships that we had been able to build through our church, but also Ryan, through you and Mark, being in monthly cohort with you guys was incredibly helpful in getting us to a place of healing.
Mm.
And when you experience things as a pastor, or as a person, and you happen to be a pastor, you experience them as a pastor as well in front of your congregation, right? You're in front of people all the time. And so they see how this affects you each and every day. And as hard as it was for us to go through that and to lose Linnell, the strength that we found, not only in the Lord that got us through it, through his scripture, his people, his supernatural healing, but just how much we were able to learn about ourselves, about where our true trust and faith comes from, not simply from a place of strength when circumstances are going well, but to see that no matter what, even through all of that, we had a place of hope that transcended what we were going through in the moment, because we had hope for what was coming. And things like grief share and whatnot to help us understand that it was okay. People tell you, you'll get to a point of being able to move on, and that within it kind of makes a person feel like a bit guilty that you don't want to move on.
Yeah.
You want to hold on to those that you love, even as a pastor and a leader. But what you can do, and what is a positive way to think about it, is being able to move forward, not necessarily move on, but move forward.
It's a good word.
With the story that God has unpacked for your life in his sovereign plan. So it was really amazing to see, again, even though had only been in Wichita for a couple of years, the relationships that became stronger horizontally between my wife and I, but also our friends and our church body, but vertically how that took us to another level of trust and faith in the Lord.
Good, man. Thanks for sharing that, being vulnerable and opening up and sharing that with us. Question 4. Can you tell me a story from your own ministry experience about the joy of seeing young people grow in their faith in Jesus?
It's, I think one of the most rewarding things from my time as a youth pastor is because when you're in the moment, I think it's a lot like parenting. When you're in the moment, you can't exactly see maybe the wheels turning in a kid's heart or mind. You can't exactly see the transformation yet, but you know that you're just laying seeds and sowing seeds in this person. I think one of the most rewarding things, though, is what I would say is getting the phone call a few years down the road. I actually got one. I told you about. I actually got one, or a text from a student who, me and his best friend, we walked together for about a year and a half doing what we called a D group, where every other week we got together and just opened the Word, and we did it at Buffalo Wild Wings. What better place?
Yeah, that's great.
And we just walked through the Word together. I remember us going through the book of Daniel, and at the time it was like, I don't know, maybe these guys are here just for the wings, but they began to fall in love with the Word.
Yeah.
But then the phone call comes years down the road, like it did this week, where they say, hey, I would love to get together with you. I would love to talk about things. I would love to, now that they're adults, and you can see that those seeds that you sowed faithfully, man, God has brought about something really cool in their lives. And to get that phone call and them to tell you about how they're pursuing the Lord. And even in this individual that I reconnected with this week, his name's Ryan, and just to be able to see what the Lord has done in him, the independence that has come out through him, the reliance on the Father. That is one of the most rewarding things, seeing a student that I walked with from middle school, now going through med school, and coming out on the other end, a follower of Christ, and seeing just all the breadcrumbs throughout his life on what the Lord had done.
That's really cool. Love that. Hey, this last question is the most serious one.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm sure it's serious.
You believe me?
Yeah.
It's hard to trust a man whose first and last name is actually 2 first names. So Parker Dane, how are you going to overcome this challenge?
See, I don't know. Is Parker Dane 2 first names or is it 2 last names?
Well, I mean, there's a couple times I've said your name, and folks have been like, "Are you saying Parker, comma space Dane? Is this Dane Parker?"
Yeah.
Because it feels like it should go that direction. You know?
I certainly have got a lot of questions over the years on, is it Dane Parker? Is it Parker Dane? I've gotten, called Dane all the time, and people have often had a hard time grasping the fact that no, Parker is my first name. My folks wanted me to have a last name for a first name.
They pulled it off.
They pulled it off, and I almost was a Jeremy. So I don't know if a Jeremy would be more trustworthy or less trustworthy in this
Yeah, I
role,
don't know.
but I am thinking that there will be lots of folks that over my time, hopefully here, that will be able to see just how much I value even the name that God has given me. My folks had given me this name. It means protector, and that's what I love to do.
Wow.
Protect people and my family, my friends, and those that I get to shepherd.
Love that. Well, Dane Parker,
Yes.
it's been really good to
Yes.
spend time with you today, have this conversation.
Very thankful for the opportunity, and
Yep.
looking forward to getting to know everybody else as
Yep.
much as possible.
See, church, we hope this has been really helpful for you. We elders wanted to put this interview out just to give a fast start, right? For you to get a chance to feel who Parker is personally. And as we're in this season of voting, any members that are processing and praying and asking the Lord for direction to affirm where us elders are leading, we figured this would be a helpful tool as you guys are praying that through. So Parker, thanks again for being here.
Absolutely. I'm happy to answer any of your questions as well. I believe Ryan will be, sending out a way that if you'd like to get in contact with me, send me a question or two. I'd be happy to answer that.
Yep, you bet. All right, friends, have a good day.